So, my name's Oz Arshad, and I am co-host of a podcast called the Director's Take podcast. And this is really, really special to finally have Angela Griffin on the podcast.
Honestly, when I actually found out that I was directing for the first time, which was like about 3 or 4 series ago, I instantly started listening to your podcast, and I think I've listened to like 60 out of your, I think you've got 76, and it really helped me on my journey. So it's a massive, massive pleasure to be here. I can't believe I'm on here.
Oh,
I've
thank
got to
you.
be really clever though, and I'm scared. Oh, good.
We've actually been trying to line this up since May 2024 when Cameron first spoke to me about it. So I'm really glad that we finally, because you've been busy.
I've been busy. I have. I did a little short film, went over to Belfast forever. But I'm back now. I'm back and I'm here.
So the Director's Take podcast is a podcast where we explore how you go from shooting something with your friends to them being like the most senior person on a film set. And today is going to be your Director's Take.
Yeah.
And how cool is it that you've got 2 shows on telly at the moment?
Do you know what? So I finished that episode. I finished in post in September last year, and then Blue Lights I finished in post September this year. Like I finished about 6 weeks ago, and they both came out within a week of each other. So watching this now, it was quite good. It was quite, because I haven't seen it obviously for a year. It's a bit mad. 2 BBC series going out all at once, and 5 years ago I was not even directing at all.
Oh, amazing. Let's start somewhat simple.
Okay, it's not simple. I know what this is going to be. I've listened to your podcast.
What is directing to you?
I've actually put some notes down because it's a really, really difficult question. Because it just is. It's like it's just something that you do. But these are my notes that I put down. So you're the overall story keeper and maintainer of tone. That's kind of the headline. Our job is to see the bigger picture and then hold all that information and then enable everyone around you to help fulfill that vision. You've got to know what the story is, what the real story is, and then you've got to serve that story. And I think for me, one of the biggest things that I find about directing, what makes it work for me is I want to inspire all of the departments that are on sets where I'm the director. I want them all to come in and feel like they can do the best job that they can, that whatever their department is as important as everybody else's department, and give everyone the space to be creative. Create that kind of set. So you've got to be a leader and a cheerleader. There we go. It's a really hard question, that.
I know.
It's really hard. Yeah.
But the reason we ask it is because everybody's interpretation of what directing is unique to them.
I think the main thing is the director is you don't know everything, and you've got to know that you don't know everything, and that there's loads of people in that room who really know loads more than you do. So it's about harnessing all of their knowledge to create your vision. And I think as long as you acknowledge the fact that you don't know everything, I don't know how much it costs to put up a set inside a school or go out and find a location. So you go to that department and you ask them to do it. I don't know where the best costume to get is. So you enable that department to be able to do it and be open to them coming to you and having their own creative ideas.
Great stuff, thank you. So the pathway to becoming a director is opaque. It's insanely there isn't a straight path. You have to kind of find your way, and I'm sure there's many directors in the audience. They know how hard it is, and you didn't take the typical route. I was looking at your IMDb, and you didn't come through the traditional route. I guess if there is a traditional route of doing shorts and then coming up through that way, you use your leverage as Kim Campbell on Waterloo Road. So did you actually say, I'm only going to return if I direct?
Yeah, I did, but Cameron said no. It took me out for lunch and was like, we're rebooting Waterloo Road and we'd really love Kim to come back and be the head teacher. And I was like, yeah. And I probably sat like this as well. Yeah, all right, Cameron. Well, I will do that, but only if I can be number 1 on the call sheet and if I can direct it. He just said no. He said no, but he did say I could be number 1 on the call sheet. So I came back and we did a couple of series, and then it got recommissioned, and then they said, will you come back and do another series. And, you know, I'd done quite a lot with Kim at that point. I've played her for quite a few years. And so at that point I did say, I might have done enough with Kim, but I would really, really like to direct Cameron. And then he said yes. Yeah.
So, you know, you said that you really, really want to direct, and I've read a lot of your interviews that you've done recently. But I want to get to, how long have you been wanting to direct for? And because I read somewhere that you said you didn't do it earlier because you thought that you didn't belong there.
Yeah, so the first time it kind of really came into my head was when I was on Holby City, and there was the BBC director's course, because they used to run one, was downstairs, and there was a really lovely director called Jim Goddard, who was directing us on Holby, but he was running the course, and Sue Tully, who played Michelle in EastEnders, was in like the process of doing the director's course, and that was the first time it clicked in the head of going, oh my gosh, like you can be an actor and be a director. And then it was something that I'm really technical, and I really love processes, and I love the technical side of making TV. So it was there in my head, but there was, I know people say this, but there was just literally nobody like me who was directing. So it didn't feel like an obvious course. There was barely any women. Don't even know if like there were particularly northern people at the time. Certainly no one who sounded like me. And it was, you know, and certainly no one of colour. I think I came across, oh, don't get old because your brain goes. I'll come to it later, but there was one director who directed me, and that was pretty much about it. And it was when I was on Baby Father. So yeah, it didn't feel like an obvious path for me to go to until I got further down the line. But now I know I said that, but there is a bit of me that goes, no, this was the right time, because all of the years of the stuff that I've done in front of camera massively informs what I do behind the camera, and I wouldn't be able to direct in the way that I did if I hadn't done that.
And you've gone from obviously acting into directing, and in fact, I just want to share this statistic that I did, if my mathematics is correct, that Angela has actually done 500 hours of broadcast TV. 500 hours.
Ridiculous.
It's incredible. I don't think there's many people that can actually say that, you know, from our country, that can say that I had 500 hours of broadcast TV.
Yeah, it's mad. I mean, I'm sure a lot of that was Corrie. I was there.
493 episodes of it were Corrie, 73 were Waterloo Road, 49 were Holby City.
The fact that you're even saying this is nuts, and that you actually can break it down like that, really, that is mad. Well, do you know what? All 500 hours of those in front of the camera are now being used behind the camera, because I've worked with a lot of directors.
Well, that's my next question actually was, you know, was it a conscious strategy at some point of starting to absorb the stuff that went on behind the camera rather than in front of the camera? And, you know, were you learning good things and also seeing bad things? And what were those things that you were learning?
Yeah, all of that. It wasn't a conscious decision. I'm just dead nosy. And some of it even just comes from, why am I in at this time in the morning and we've only got this one scene to do? Why am I not going to finish at 12 o'clock? And just wanting to get home early made me start looking at the schedule and how many shots you're doing, and, you know, how are you shooting it, and how do you make one scene that's 5 pages long, you shoot that in an hour and a half, yet you have a quarter of a page that seems to take 6 hours. So I think just my general curiosity made me interested. It definitely wasn't a conscious effort, and yet I have absolutely learned some incredible things from some directors, and I have learned some no-goes and do not do this from other directors.
Just for, 'cause obviously we've got directors in there. For example, and I'd like to know as well.
For example, I was doing a show once, and I had to act like I was a little bit off my face, and I won't say too much actually, because then you'll be able to know which show it was. But basically, in the middle of a take, and there was about, I don't know, 100 essays all around, and it was action, and I said my first line, and the director shouted, "I don't believe you! Go again!" Wow. In front of everybody. I was mortified. I was mortified. And it's like, don't ever, if you've ever got anything to say to an actor, never shout across a set. Do you know what? Even if it's good, go to that person. Go and speak to that person. Don't do that. Don't humiliate your actors. Rule number 1.
There's some directors who think directing is easy, or they think it's a breeze, and they get humbled very, very quickly. So what surprised you the most about the directing process once you stepped behind the camera and behind the monitor?
Almost the opposite of that. When I went behind, I was surprised by not how easy it was, but how natural it felt. And I wonder if they're humbled because, so to me, the easiest thing on set, it's really easy and it will help you complete your day. Say thank you, appreciate when someone's doing a job for you, and just be appreciative of how that day is going. And when someone does something really good, tell them that they've done something really good. It's so easy to be nice, and being nice to people will get you, honestly, it will make you finish your day. Or if you've got 10 or 15 minutes that you have to go over at the end of the day, if you've been nice to everybody, your crew will give you 10 or 15 minutes. You can get the crew on your side. And if you've got the crew on your side, you can do anything at all. Again, I go back to the thing of going, I don't know everything. There's loads and loads of stuff, especially in the beginning. I didn't understand about lenses. You know, I knew what size shot I wanted, and I could go like this and go, I want to be in or I want to be out. And when I went behind the camera, I realised that you don't actually have to know all that stuff. That's what you've got a DOP for. Big shout out to Alex and Nick Cox, who are in the audience here as well. They are the ones, that's why you have a DOP, because they're there to help you decide on what your look is. So I think it was my first block. I was getting a bit, oh God, I should know about it. No, we're on a 35 or on a 40, what are we? And it was just like, no, Angela, you don't need to worry about that. You just tell us what you want, and we're all here to make sure that happens. And that is kind of what it is. As long as you can communicate what it is that you want technically, then you've got a whole load of people who are there, as long as you say thank you and please and be nice, who will then help you do all that. And then that leaves me to do the bit which I love the most, which is concentrate on the actors, creating an environment that means that my actors do amazing work that I can sit at the monitor and watch.
And I think I think that's what's really, really important. I shot something last week on 16mm film, and I had someone shadowing me, and they asked me the question. They said, "Do you know all about film?" I said, "I don't have a clue about what that is. I know what the aesthetics is, and I know what it's going to give me, and that is all I need to know."
That is all you need to know. Exactly, it is all you need to know.
And I think sometimes you know, directors can get bogged down with things like this, that, and the other. But everybody else that's in your team, you know, directors, we're the tip of the iceberg, right? But the whole crew that holds you up, they're the actual iceberg.
Exactly. So say thank you to them. Yeah. Give them an early dart every so often.
Absolutely. I read in your Radio Times interview, and you mentioned a couple of times through it about nerves of being a director, about being a newbie, that you're still learning as you go on. And many of us directors feel that way. I think it doesn't matter how many echelons you rise through the ranks, it's going to be the same thing. So what is it about the job of a director that makes us never an expert and always a student? And how do you manage those voices of resistance? I'm asking for a friend.
They never go away. Do you know what? As an actress with 500 hours, I still, you know, I still get nervous. I still think, you know, that, oh my God, they're not going to, you know, I'm not going to give them what they want. And there's still that little voice on my shoulder. It was interesting going from doing Waterloo Road because it was so safe. It was just so lovely. I knew the crew. I'd been, you know, in front of the camera for so long. So when I did go on the other side, I didn't have to worry about turning up on set on the first day and working out what everybody's name is and what everybody does. When I went over to Ireland to go and do blue lights, I mean, the fear was so real because it was just this thing of going, I've only done 5 hours of telly. I've done 5 hours of telly basically with me mates. Maybe like they've all just, maybe I wasn't doing anything. I was just sitting drinking cups of tea and wearing outfits, and they were all doing the hard work, and I've not really directed anything. And that was absolutely going through my brain the whole entire time I was on my flight over there. I don't know what the answer to that is. It will never go away. You just got to embrace it. You just got to embrace it and just go, this feeling means it matters. the fact I'm scared just means that it matters, and go into the job, and what's the worst that can happen? They sack you. Imagine, it'd be awful. But that is actually the worst. You're not going to die. So don't listen to the voice, but I do. So
Do you over prep then to combat it?
do I over prep? I don't think there's such a thing as over prepping. I don't know. I do. There's no such thing. Just prep. Over prep. I'm going back to Ireland in November because I'm going to go on to the next series of Blue Lights. And I am
Amazing.
lucky.
Is that an exclusive?
It is exclusive, actually.
Amazing.
I was meant to say it on Morning Live the other day and I completely forgot. So yes, you have the exclusive. Yeah, I'm going to be lead director on the next series of Blue Lights. And they sent me through, and I'm not being paid now. I'm 5 weeks off and I've got another 6 weeks. I've already started. They sent me through a first draft of episode 4, because I'm doing episode 1, 2 and 4. And they sent me through this episode and I've already started. I just can't help. No such thing as over prep.
Yeah.
So
Great. And speaking about this episode, I wanted to talk about that, and I want to sort of like dig a little bit deeper into craft. So this episode was shot entirely on location. How did you approach capturing that environment truthfully, avoiding stereotypes of council estates? Because I think that you did find the heart of the place and you found the community. You didn't do stereotypical shots. Sometimes, some people might want to see Top Boys references or this, that, and the other. And I felt that you didn't. I felt like it was very, very grounded. I know that's tone, but I'd like to just find out, how did you go about it?
This episode was really, really special. It's something that I've always. So I'm from an estate. Basically, that's what it is. I'm from an estate that looks like that, but it's about 20 times bigger. It's got the flats right in the middle of it all, and I just know that world. And I have a real passion about communicating that just because you're from a council estate doesn't mean that you're some robbing. Down at heel, just crim. I loved growing up on my estate. I loved it. It was community. I felt dead safe. Everyone was looking out over me. As when you're going up to the shops and you're 6 years old, all the neighbours and stuff. And for me, a council estate means community. And so when this episode came, it was like I was really, really quite forthright about that. I wanted it to be just like that, to have that feeling. Of course there's bad people. There's bad people in gated communities. There's bad people in student flats, but it's not the overriding population.
You like to create an environment on set that is really actor friendly. You pride yourself on it. What do you mean by actor friendly? Because I've read this, and how did you achieve that for an episode entirely on location with so many moving parts?
On location. I mean, when I say actor friendly, I don't mean make sure that everyone's got, manicures and pedicures and, Mercedes to come to work on and stuff. When I say actor friendly, what I suppose I mean is to try and make the acting and the actors the most important once we're doing a take. So that involves, I'm a massive, massive fan of rehearsals. Doesn't mean I'm going to get it up on its feet, but to have a conversation before you end up on set with your actor, so that if you've never met them before, so that the first time you see them isn't when you're kind of blocking them in a rehearsal. Having those conversations, making sure everything's out there, opening up that communication, so that when you are on set, they are confident enough to be able to ask whatever question they want to then. And also trying to give time when you've got those big scenes. I know what it's like for that KBS at the end of the day, and I try really hard. And it doesn't always happen, and we do have to do.
Just for the sake of the podcast, translate KBS.
Oh, kick, bollock, scramble. Sorry, my daughter's in the audience, and I don't swear. Kick, scramble. Yeah. So basically, you've spent all day filming 3 pages, and then it's 20 to 6 and you got 20 minutes left, but somehow you managed to shoot 3 pages in 20 minutes. So making it actor friendly is just trying to make it so that the actor can feel comfortable once we are going for the take. And doing it there was just, I don't know whether you notice, but all I can see is the wind. There's rain in that shot, there's not rain in that shot, there's bright sunshine in that shot, there's the litters flying all over the place. It was absolutely mental. It was August. It was August. We had 12 days to shoot, 9 days outside exteriors. There were some very un-actor friendly moments. Thank you very much to my wonderful cast for sticking with me through all those. But, you know, what I do is try. That's all you can do is try.
The cracking performances for all.
Aren't they brilliant? Honestly, I never realised when I went behind the camera how much I would buzz from watching someone else's performance. They have made, I mean, like, they've made me cry, they make me laugh. And then when you go in and you give a note, and a note, I don't give notes, it's just I'll give a thought or just have like a little discussion with an actor. And then that sparks something in the brain and you see that spark going, it's like, right, let's go for a take. And then you go for the take and you watch it. You literally watch that note manifest itself in that performance. Honestly, the buzz is mental.
Yeah.
That's what I really love.
I also like that buzz that it carries on, that when you get into the edit and you can see the nuances in the skill level of the actor, you're like, my eye didn't register that until I got into the edit, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Actors are.
Honestly, the edit. So beforehand, obviously, I'd spent 500 hours on sets, but the edit was the dark art, and my editor, Andy McKee, was in here as well. Thank you very much. He did all that. The edit is like, I mean, it's every actor should go into an edit, not in a show that they're in because that's quite brutal. But it is magical. It is incredible what you can do. And what so it informs my acting as well. Now I know what you can do. Now I know what you can get away with, but also just the moments that you need. That's informed me as an actor as well. But yeah, the edit is just so cool.
Now when you act and not direct, when you're on an acting gig, do you switch and someone's directing you? How do you switch? Do you switch it off, or do you think, well, I would go that way?
I can switch it off actually. I can switch it off unless the director's not maybe missed something. So I did a show between the last two directing gigs for Channel 5 called The Wives with Helen Black. And I managed to switch my brain off completely for that. I was a complete actor. I'd come from here, come from doing Waterloo Road, and I was really happy to put down my directing brain. But I did do a show a couple of weeks ago. Right. And it did get to a point where I had to go, we haven't got time for this, so I'm really sorry, you've got to lose that moment, because then you can just shoot from here and we can do this in 2 shots because you haven't got time for these 4 shots that you want to do. And I felt awful because it had been bubbling the whole time and we were in the middle of this take. But it's like, we have to finish, we're already running over.
They must have appreciated that though.
Basically, they appreciated it. They appreciated the comment and did say thank you afterwards. But yeah, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it on like a big grown-up set.
Craft question.
What
is blocking for you in relation to emotional beats? How do you see blocking? Do you have a formula for blocking? And how does your planning translate to working on set with the actors?
Okay, blocking is everything. Blocking makes or breaks your entire day.
Your blocking. I actually went back and watched your episode 3 of season 13, and you always had that staging thing in you. You know, I messaged you today about it. Your staging is brilliant.
Blocking is absolutely everything. And again, 500 hours means I have done some very good blocking as an actor and I've done some very bad blocking as an actor. And I've got a real thing about keeping things busy. Like, I just always want there to be something going on. I'm not very good with stillness. I think you've got to really massively earn stillness. So therefore, the blocking is just everything, and the blocking will give you your kick, bollock, scramble at 20 minutes to go if you've blocked it right. But you have to be willing to let go of your blocking as well. So over prep. I walk onto set and I have got where everybody is going to stand, where everybody's going to move to, where every single one of my cameras is going to be, what shots I want and what size and so on. And then when I go on set, you have to then put that in your pocket and kind of forget about it and then speak to the actors, because no actor should ever be told where to go unless, well, no, there's not an unless. You just don't tell an actor where to go. You rehearse the scene and then you carefully maneuver where it would be perfect. But if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But yeah, blocking is everything. But I'm going to go out there and say, I think I'm really good at it.
I agree.
I know how to get so many people in one shot, and I know how to do those transferences onto different people. And it's something I love. I really love being able to stay in one for as much as possible. And
But like I said earlier on, Sia, I was going back and rewatching some of your scenes just to deconstruct how you'd staged it, and I really like you call them transfer the handoffs. I really like them. But I also like you said, the secondary movement, because that's the sort of like conscious world building stuff that you when you're watching the actors in the forefront and that main action, the secondary stuff that we're subconsciously taking in, that's really solid in your work.
Yeah. So there's loads of that. So my little bikie guys that I loved, that I had, so they for me were temptation. So they were always kind of like hovering in the back when someone was kind of going through a moment of having to make a decision. There was a temptation there. I had them in the back, but they're never kind of like right at the forefront. They were just seeded in through. Loved those little things. Yeah.
Did you choose the music?
We chose together, me and Andy. I go in and then Andy's got like a whole thing going on. But on this, I'm gone after Locke, and then it gets passed on to.
That was H, wasn't it, at the start?
Yeah, they're all Manchester
And I
artists.
was wondering, was it Andy or yourself that chose H?
The one at the I'm going to be honest, right? That wasn't the track that we had.
Okay.
That wasn't the track that we had. There's a really long story about this, which involves people saying that we had permissions for ones that we didn't have permissions for. And I was, I think, in Malta or somewhere at the time, and Andy phoned me up and went, "I'm so sorry, but the track that we've literally spent the last 2 months with has now gone." And he sent me the new one. And for me, I was just like, well, that doesn't even work. But that's what it has to be.
One of the biggest things that I learned when I was on that long shadowing scheme was that there were so many changes, but when it's broadcast, the audience should never know that there was anything else. That's your job.
That's exactly it. And that's what I have to remember. And there's quite a few, this is a producer-led show. So therefore, there's, some decisions do get taken out of your hands because you get moved off once Lock happens. Nobody knows what you had. Nobody knows about that brilliant track that we had that we edited the whole entire opening sequence to. They don't know about that. So yeah, you just have to remember it.
So for us as directors, our understanding of tone is the currency. That's what we do get hired on. It's a component of, obviously, as long as all the other checks check out. What is tone?
Oh, see, I hate this question as well, and I've not written anything down for this. So I've never really had to do this because everything I've gone on to, all 2 shows that I've done, the tone's already there. So to me, the tone is the style. And we do have tone meetings before we start shooting to make sure that we are staying within the tone. I do like to push it a little bit. Usually the music is indie when it comes to Waterloo Road, and we had discussions about changing that up so that there was other Manchester artists, and we went with it, and it is a slightly different toned episode, but yeah, it's the style.
Because Blue Lights is completely different to Waterloo Road.
Yeah.
Absolutely different.
Yeah.
But you've served the tone of that show, and you've served this one as well.
Yeah, I mean, but what both of them are, which I find, or at least what I try and bring to it, is a massive amount of truthfulness. Do I believe it? Is this real? So keeping the reality and naturalistic, the naturalistic tone is what I feel quite passionate about, basically. But yeah, they are no different tones.
This episode has got so much in it, and respect to Paul who wrote it, but it's got humor, it's a crime drama, it's got like romance in it, it's got all those different, it's got fights in it. How did you go about balancing the tone of all that? Like, obviously I know they say in the writing and there's the tone of the show, but what's your process when you've got your brain's eye working and you get it out of here through your team?
Just honestly, I don't. Maybe because I feel like Waterloo Road is in my blood. Like, I've lived with this show for like 20 years. My daughter wasn't even born when I was first Kim Campbell. So I don't know whether I just know Waterloo Road. I know what that balance is. I know what those characters should be. I know how those stories sit together. I don't think that balance between all those stories really gets interrogated until you get into the edit. I am just shooting. I'm making sure that everyone's being truthful within their performances, that I've got enough coverage. so that then when I get into the edit, that's when you find out about the balance. And that's when, you know, you and your editor do your work. And it's amazing how much, you know, stuff that you think that you shoot it and you go, oh my God, this is it. This is amazing. And then you get in there and it doesn't work. It doesn't balance. It veers off too much into the drama element or something. So yeah, that balance all happens in the edit. And I don't know if I massively think about it when I'm shooting. Specifically this, specifically TV, specifically 12 days to shoot a BBC hour. I'm just making sure that what I've got amazing performances, so I've got great choice in the edit.
And the cast really know the tone in their performance of the show. It's so clear.
I think it'd be really, I've not had to start a show. And even though I'm going to lead direct on the next one, the tone is set, you know, and the writing, everything about it is already set. I would be interested to see how I would perform when if I start something brand new, because that's really difficult.
You know, alongside this, you know, obviously film and TV is important, but you know, you're also a parent.
Yes.
You know, my wife and I often talk about just like having ambitions as a parent and still being a parent at the same time in your career. You're also doing a degree in psychology, is it? Yeah, at the same time.
So you're not on the train on the way up.
And I think it's an important thing to cover, because you know, the many people, you know, that might be listening, or the many people in the audience that think because they're a parent, you know, that they can't do what they want to do. And I'm intrigued about your experience in balancing family and work, especially something so demanding as directing. It's literally like your brain, all your brain's processing power is on that.
If I'd have been directing when my babies were little, it would have been very different. My kids are 18 and 21 now, so it's this kind of new direction, this pivot that I've done, has happened when they're much older. So they, you know, they can jump on a flight to Belfast. They can be with me. It would have been more difficult when they were younger. But Claire Taylor, who is no, she's directed Waterloo Road, I think probably the next series that's coming out. She's got very young kids and she manages the balance. I could not do it, and he's not even here, so I'm not even saying it because he's sat there. But I literally couldn't do it without my husband, who is amazing and has always been amazing. He's always stayed at home with the kids. He does voiceovers and he's an actor. Oh, in fact, he was in Waterloo Road. He's an actor as well, but he was the one, he did the heavy lifting when the kids were little. So I am really lucky that I had, you know, the support of a really, really double hands-on husband. But I also think that you have to, when I was going away to, you know, Canada or Spain or whatever, I try really hard not to feel guilty, because I just think that I'm doing a job that I'm so passionate about. And if you are passionate about it, then you've got to enjoy it. If you're going to leave your kids, make sure that you're going and doing that job and enjoying every single second of it. Show your children that they can have it all. Show your children that you can be there, be a parent, but when you go away, you're doing something that puts, well, it doesn't just put food on the table. It does put food on the table. It pays the mortgage, but you're also allowed to enjoy it as well. It's really okay to go away and work. So yeah, I try not to feel guilty, and I think that's part of. It's the guilt that'll get you. It's the guilt that makes you feel crap and not enjoy anything. So just chuck that guilt away. But it's really hard. It's really hard. There's no denying it. It's really hard to parent in the creative industries, because you know, you don't know when the next job's going to come in, and money's up and down. So save.
Yeah. And that was a wonderful answer. Thank you very much for that. You spent so much time on set, as I mentioned, the 500 hours. You know, you've seen good directors, you know, not so good directors and directions. What are the characteristics of a good director, Angela? Asking for a friend again.
Decision making. You've got to be able to make a decision and really mean that decision. So when I was first going on to set to direct, Cameron actually said to me, gave me a piece of advice, and he just said, look, when you go on the first day, any decision you make, stick to it. So if you set up a shot and say that you want something, and then you realise the minute that they start laying that 15-foot track that you don't actually want that shot anymore, You have to stick with it. Just make decisions and stick with them, and then that will build the confidence. And I've done that. I did that when I went on to Waterloo Road, and I did it when I went over to Blue Lights as well. And that does stand you in good stead. You are the leader. Everybody is looking to you to make those decisions. So make them. And yeah, be believable at the same time that you really do mean them. So I think you need to be a problem solver. You need to be a decision maker. You just need to be nice. I cannot stress enough how important it is to show appreciation to the people who are doing everything in their power to make your vision work. Notice what everyone's doing and say thank you and be appreciative. Value every single person on that site and in the office as well, the people that you don't see every day. Be nice, be a problem solver, be a decision maker. I think that's it. Those three things will get you really far, and there's no such thing as being over-prepared.
I think we're going to open it up to the audience, but I just wanted to say before we do that, for me, this is a full circle moment sat with you, because when I used to be a high school teacher for 10 years, I used to watch you on Waterloo Road as a teacher. So to now be sat actually interviewing you about directing, that's great. And also the advice you gave me before I got my first TV gig was amazing.
Can I just say, when you phoned me to tell me that you got that, I cried.
Oh,
I really
thank you.
cried because I've listened to you, listened to all these episodes, and I know how passionate you are about it all. And the fact that you got that gig just made me go, yes, good.
Your advice was really helpful. Cool. So thank you.
Anyone got any questions?
As an actor, what is something that you struggled with? And then as a director, what advice would you give yourself about that?
As an actor, what did I struggle with? As an actor, God, the biggest thing I've probably struggled with is just that imposter syndrome of, like, you know, not necessarily feeling like I was meant to be there, and just walking around being grateful all the time. Just, oh, I'm just so grateful to be here. I'm just so, you know, like a competition winner on every job I did. And sometimes I shouldn't have, like, done that. I wasn't a competition winner. I'd auditioned and I was all right. I was actually an all right actor. You learn so much when you get into your 40s. I love the perimenopause. It's brilliant. No apologies anymore. So yeah, that's what I struggled with, the feeling of not feeling like I should be there. And what was the second bit? What advice would I give to myself as a director? Oh, Cameron's advice was the best advice, I've got to say. What would I say now? Get better walking boots, get better waterproofs. If I plan on working in the Manchesters and the Belfasts of the world, just get some proper gear. It's not a fashion show, Ange.
Hi, it's Tilly.
Hi, Tilly. What a performance, kid. What a performance. Well done.
That's what I was going to ask you, actually. As a director, what creates a great performance? Because is it something technical, or is it an actor that makes a great performance?
No, what makes an amazing performance is when I go back behind that monitor and I watch it and I believe it. And that's literally it. Whatever that truth is of that, whatever that actor is doing at that moment, it's so weird because you can really see when someone means it and someone doesn't. Do you know what I mean? I just don't know. I don't know what it is, but you just see it. So for me, that's what makes the performance, is just like truthfulness.
Hello, Angela.
Hello.
I just want to say well done on episode 6, and also well done to the cast and crew. You worked very, very hard on that episode, which I know because I watched you film it. Right, I've got 2 questions about Waterloo Road. What past character would you bring back to Waterloo Road? And also, I'm going to ask this because it's been on my mind for ages, but would you like to see Waterloo Road do a Christmas special?
Yes. Oh my gosh, yeah. Cameron, Lindsay, why have that never happened before? Everyone else gets them, midwife and all that. I would absolutely, and I will champion a Christmas special. absolutely. That one thing that can make Waterloo better is tinsel. Yes to that. And if I could bring back any character, Baby Grace. You've got to be a real Waterloo Road fan for that. That was the baby that Kim Campbell stole about 15 years ago. There's so many. I'd love to. It's people more than anything. I'd love to bring Jill Halfpenny back. Camilla Power would be lovely. I'd love to do that whole first series, bring people back from the dead. Yeah, that's what I'd like.
You talked a lot about truth in the moment, truth with the actors, and that being important, and also getting the coverage and those being the main things that you do when you're actually on the shoot. I'm just wondering, when you do those takes with the actors, how much time do you give to them trying different things with the performance? And do you try and work with them with their performance in that way? Or are you more into kind of tonal continuity and getting this similar performance each time?
Oh, that's a very good one. I would say once upon a time I would have probably gone for wanting to keep the performance the same and stay within that world. Now I would say that, particularly if that it's been a particularly great take, I do like to go in and change it just a little bit. Again, because of the magic of the edit, where you don't necessarily know you might as well sometimes get the scenes and just throw them up in the air and they land on the floor, because you just change so much round. And so if you can and you can still be truthful, that's the thing, is you can absolutely 100% still be truthful, but with a slightly different thought in your head. So yes, I now try and add a thought that would change it, so that then when I'm in the edit, we can create what we need to create there. But yeah, that's really good as an actor, and that's made me now as an actor. You've got to do the same continuity though. That's the only thing. So you've still got to do the same actions and everything, but if you have a slightly different thought in your mind, it just changes, and it just really, really helps. But yeah, keep your continuity the same, because you cannot do anything about continuity.
Hi Angela. Hi Ellen here. My question is, apart from being Kim Campbell, who else would have you loved to play in Waterloo Road? And I noticed you said something about the Scotland series, how you almost got cast in it. Do you think there's still a Scotland series out there for all of us original fans?
In the audio, did you love the Scotland series? Were they your favourites?
I love the ones in Manchester series, once Devon, but I like the Scottish series because of all the scenery. It's absolutely beautiful up there.
Yeah. I don't. I mean, that's a proper question for the grown-ups. I'm not sure they'll go back to Scotland, I'm going to be honest. But yeah, who would I play if I wasn't playing Kim Campbell? Probably, well, oh God, what's she called? Denise Welsh's character. Steph Haydock. I mean, who doesn't want to be Steph Haydock? Yeah, I'd be Steph. If I wasn't Kim, I'd be Steph. I love the comedy as well that goes with that. But I love that you love the Scotland episodes, yeah.
So what's the communication like? What's the process? What's the back and forth like between you as a director and editor, your editor, and how's that vision brought to life?
Yeah, so on Waterloo Road, there was, on the series that I worked on, there was two editors, Andy and David, and they kind of flip-flopped between the two episodes. So they're very much within, they know the tone, they know what, they've edited loads and loads of episodes before it gets to your episode. You can have almost as much or as little communication as you want. The first block I did, I think I had 0, because I was a bit scared and didn't really understand it. But then when it came to the next series, there's conversations that you have as you're shooting, because you have an assembly editor. So every day you shoot, the next day, I don't know, Johnny's in here as well, who's assembling all that. And they assemble it, and then they will give you a call and go, oh, by the way, when you shot the Libby scene, did you happen to get a close-up by any chance? And I say, no, I didn't get a close-up because I just shot this shot. And then you go home and feel really sad about the fact that you've missed a shot. So there should be that kind of dialogue going backwards and forwards. If you have missed something, then, and you can get it, then brilliant. But it's kind of as much or as little as you want on Blue Lights, I didn't speak to my editors until I'd completely finished, until I started on the first day of the edit. So yeah, it's different, and I've had a different editor every single time, apart from Andy, who I've worked with twice.
Yeah, so my second and final question is, from your perspective as a director, what makes a good editor and what makes you go, I'd like to work with them again?
What makes an editor is someone who, the editor should have their vision, like, and have quite a sure vision. So once you go into the edit, so everything gets assembled and you see your dailies every day, and then you go in on the first day, and basically your editor will show you an assembly of the entire episode, and it pretty much shows all the shots that you have, but then they've put their mark on it. For me, as someone who's quite inexperienced, I want an editor who's absolutely got a vision and is very confident within that vision. I just worked with someone, and it was her first time, my first episode of Blue Lights, and it was her first editing gig, and I was like, this is my first directing gig that is a Waterloo Road, and I panicked a little bit, but in the end it worked out. So for me personally, I really want someone who is very, very confident, but there are directors who absolutely don't want that, directors who don't want that at all. They want to go in and they want to do every single cut, and they will go through every single take and decide how they want to cut it. So for me, an editor is a confident editor, but I think you find your person. I'd worked with Andy all day and night. I felt like we had a real connection and a real similarity. The same sensibilities. I think that's what I mean. So yeah, I'd work with him again. Not just because he's in the room either.
As a director, when do you know when to stop? Because I was reading an article about Stanley Kubrick, who is notorious for doing too many takes. So as a director, when do you know this is a good take? I'd like to stop here, to also keep that morale within my concept.
So that's the decision making. That is exactly the decision making that I was talking about before. You just have to know Kubrick can go on forever because he's got gazillions of money. When you're doing TV, it's really brilliant to serve your art. It's really wonderful, but there's a schedule, and you have to stick to that schedule to keep everyone on side and to keep the money from, get employed again and stop money from spiraling. You have to complete that schedule. So you have to have strength of the courage of conviction that when you've got that take. I would rather, and I definitely took this onto Blue Lights, I would rather rehearse and do maybe two takes, so that the actor knows that when we say action, every single take will count. If you start doing 15 takes, your actors just lose it. They just lose it. The truth just disappears. So you've got to have courage of conviction, know when you've got it, and make a decision. Don't mess around. Just know it. And I feel, that's something that I feel like I've got. I know when I've got it.
What does it mean to you to be a truly good director? And my second question is, if you had the power to bring back Rachel Mason, would you?
Oh, yes. Eva Pope. Yes. Oh, wasn't she amazing? Yes, if I had the power, I would bring back Eva Pope. I feel like there should just be, can there not just be like a Waterloo Road reunion, like where every single teacher that's ever alive and dead, have a big party in the new school or something? That's what I'd quite like. Yes, I would bring back Eva Pope. As an actor, a truly brilliant director is someone who I feel is on my side and can get the best out of me and makes me do my best work. Some people don't want notes though. I love giving notes. Some actors don't want a note. Some actors just want to do their own thing and let the director concentrate on the pretty picture. So it depends. Everyone's got a different version, but for me, I want someone who's going to talk to me a lot.
Waterloo Road running for so many years and having so many legendary moments, did you find yourself trying to live up to certain beloved episodes when you were directing your own?
Oh my God, yeah, I really felt the pressure. I mean, like I said, I do feel like Waterloo Road is in my bones. But yeah, the pressure to kind of, it's really loved. It's a really loved show. People have grown up with it, and the fans from now and the fans from years ago. So there is a massive responsibility. But I hope that I hope that I did it proud. Yeah.
You did. Well, I think that takes us right up to the end. Thank you for that last question.
Thank you.
I just want to say a massive thank you to Oz and to Angela. But thank you all for coming. Thanks for the episode, and thanks, Dan, for always.
Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.